Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest, Donna Campbell. Donna is an international private practice where she assists her clients creating a life of happiness, prosperity, and love, and is a motivational speaker sharing her techniques. So she is going to share some of those techniques. She is also known as the Mind Whisperer, thought for energy healing person to go to. So, all right, welcome to the show, Donna.
Yes, so thank you so much, Sheila, for having me. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here today with you.
And I like to start off with this show actually came about through my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And over this last year and a half or so, we have had so many interesting situations show up in our world. So I love to start off with asking if you have a time in your business or personal life where you experienced a difficult situation and how you got back on track.
Oh my goodness. The answer to that question is yes, of course. I think we all go through something like that. For me, I had been a financial advisor and a managing principal of an investment firm. And so I was responsible for $500 million of other people's money. So that amount of stress and worry broke down my health. I couldn't digest food for 2 years. My marriage ended out of infidelity. And then after that, being a single parent of 2 children, I was left financially devastated after taking off a year to uncover what all of these things had in common, which was me, and to get my life back on track. So I had 3 major events like that happen within a 4 to a 5 year time period. And it was at that point that I knew that the financial services world wasn't for me and that I needed to do something a little bit different and take these truths that I had been learning from other natural healers to the world.
That's beautiful. Yes. And that's something that happens. And the reason I wrote that book is actually because it's all so connected. When we have a situation in one area of our life, whether it's business or whatever, it affects every other area of life. And then when you're reinventing yourself or really going towards something that you're more guided to do, you have to kind of redo everything. But this time you get to do it on your terms, which sounds like is what you got to do. So I'd love to hear more about the energy work and what you're doing now.
Yes. So all of that allowed me to transition into the healing world. And I had the opportunity to study with a medicine woman who was a catalyst for a lot of my change. And what she taught me how to do, first it was in the physical world, then it was in the emotional world. It was a concept called pivot and shift, because everything is vibration, frequency, and energy. Even if you study physics with Nikola Tesla, that was one of his favorite quotes. And by shifting and changing that frequency, which is for us how we feel behind what we think, we are a catalyst for change, not only for ourselves, but also for other people. And so for the last 12, 15 years, I have perfected that technique, shifting that internally, not just within myself, but utilizing with others, which is why I call it thought form energy healing. And when I share it with other people, most people are like, I don't know how this works, but we'll just call you the mind whisperer, because it's like dog whispering and horse whispering, because we're shifting and changing frequency in the brain. And it's all based on physics. And it's through that process that we can really truly have healing, because what we're doing is we're aligning how we feel in the heart to what we're actually thinking in the mind to have that coherence.
I love that. That is so beautiful and something I've experienced a lot in my life and didn't actually know where it came from, but it's just this guided situation. A lot of it had to do for me with surrendering, not
Yes.
fighting what happened or whatever, something out of my control, but just going to that better place. And it's crazy how fast the beautiful things show up that are even better than you could ever imagine.
Yes.
Yes, it's shocking almost. You have to kind of, your mind has to catch up with the vibration of it, I guess, or something. Like, I'm like, wow, how did this happen so fast? It's wonderful. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So do you have an example of how that actually works as far as putting it into action or what it looked like in your life?
Yes. The first way that I learned it was, like I mentioned, on a physical level. And at the time, I was in a particular relationship that was not beneficial for me. And so the medicine woman guided and coached me that if I was in the same room physically with the person and things were getting out of control or out of hand, or it was angry, or I didn't like the energy of it, all I had to do was physically move. So if I was sitting down, she said, stand up, go wash your hands, go to the bathroom, get a glass of water, whatever it was. And if I needed to, just leave the house. Because
Mm.
every time you physically moved, the energy of the room changed and it would diffuse the situation. She took that and took it a step further to what she called the pivot and shift strategy, to how to change it on an emotional component that way. And the first step is identifying the low vibrating emotion or feeling, whether it be stress, worry, anger, depression, and identify the feeling that you really want to have, which might be kindness or generosity or balance and peace. And then you make that mental shift. And then from there, she guided and coached me in actually not only witnessing that for myself, but getting to the heart of the matter for people, what's under the layer. So it's kind of like you start with the initial thought to find the thought under the thought under the thought under the thought, back to where it got stuck in the subconscious. And we watch it change from the initial point of interaction where, you know, that low vibrating emotion got learned from. And
Mhm.
when that changes, it changes instantly in the brain. It overrides your operating system, and you have instantaneous results.
That's beautiful. So there is something about energy and it's scientific, like you said, like Tesla, the studies, scientifically, this is proven, the study of water with Dr. Emoto, all these different things where the energy, the vibrational frequency that you're putting into something shows up. And they can actually scientifically prove this now.
Mhm.
So that really makes a difference. And I don't know, something about it was so healing. I lost my youngest son about a year and a half ago,
Uh-huh.
a little bit more than that now, December 21st, 2019, right before all the interesting things happened on our planet. And people would send me because, it was the holidays, so not everybody could show up in person, but they would send me this love energy, prayers, blessings, healing. And it's like I felt it. I feel I'm being carried by
Mhm.
all this energy, all this to get through this. When I can't walk, it's carrying me through it. And
Mhm.
it was just so beautiful. So I always send energy out like that to everybody else as well. And
Mhm.
it makes me feel better, but it also, I feel like it's got to be doing something out there. So
It does. Absolutely does, because we are vibration and frequency, and we are wave patterns as well as particles. And every time you send out those good positive thoughts, other people will feel it. And then that is what returns to you in kind. All of
yes.
that. We're meant to live in this love state. So the more you do that, the higher the love level goes.
Yes, yes. Now, this is something that parents listening in, you can start this with your children, with your family at home. I have 6 kids, and going through everything we did, one of the things I started with, I got to bring gratitude back. How the heck do you have gratitude when you've lost somebody you love, a sibling, a child? And that gratitude practice
Mhm.
was just, I could see it on my kids are all adults now. I could see it
Mhm.
on their faces, like this little lift.
Yes.
Was just a shift, and it had helped them so much just to have, okay, what are we going to find something? And sometimes we had to look really hard at first because it's kind of hard, but over like the first week we were able to find more things. We were grateful for silly TV shows that we found because we were just sitting there and waiting for things to happen, and so all these things just showed up, and it was so healing for them. I could see it. I thought, oh, I'm just going to test this theory. I might as well. And it does. It makes such a difference.
It does. It does. And one of the things that goes along with gratitude is also happiness, because happiness can be found on the inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
We often seek things outside of us to bring us happiness, but yet it's on the inside. So just as you give gratitude, also give happiness and uncover and find what brings you that internal happiness, because then that will allow you to keep replicating that. And so one of the things I talk about often is keeping a happiness journal, because a lot of people say, I don't know what brings me happiness. But if you write it down at the end of the day of all the moments that you had happiness, you keep creating that happiness. And if you're happy, then others get to have to be happy because you're sending out that frequency as well as the gratitude.
Yes. Yes. And that's something I've had people approach me with my own divorce, different things that happened in my life, that it was a peaceful divorce. It was fine. Mm-hmm. But with that, there were people that approached me with, you've got to get in a new relationship right away, because then you'll be even happier. And I said, no, wait, I'm happy now. And then my happiness attracts the right partner, the right people into my life. I'm not expecting them to provide me with this happiness or anything outside of me to provide me with happiness. Because what if it changes? Then guess who owns me? That person, place, or thing owns my happiness. Yes. And I don't want to give that away. So that's something, when you own your happiness, you're so empowered and free. Mm-hmm. You don't have to depend on anybody else. And that feeling it attracts the exact people that are aligned. It's that vibration thing where it's attracting that same level of vibration. And maybe there's people, oh, I didn't want to attract that same, when you first get divorced and you attract the same guy or lady where you are in a different body, and you're like, wait a minute, what is this? This isn't, I just left that. But it's not them. It's the constant is the person in looking for the new relationship.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's all inside that person creating and manifesting. Mm-hmm. Your subconscious records everything from the moment you're born to the day you exit this earth. And it's citing the emotions and feelings you have moment by moment. So then what happens is it creates an automated response system. So if you were in one type of relationship and it's not working out and it ended, you're going to recreate the same type of relationship because it's an automated response system. Mm-hmm. Until you internally change how you feel on the inside. Now, our awareness of this process happening with the subconscious is only 10% of the time. Scientists measured Albert Einstein's brain, and that was his awareness level. So the other 90% is just sending out that frequency, returning magnetically back to you those same feelings behind the thoughts. So unless you shift it from not this relationship, but this type of relationship, invoke the happiness in that 90%, you'll just keep recreating that same pattern over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like until it gets to the point where you're tired of it.
Yes.
And you say enough, and you're ready to actually move on. I have this crazy belief that sometimes things don't work out because something better is going to show up. And you're
that too.
Yeah, you're being guided to this better situation that's even better than you could even fathom. Yes. And it's that surrender.
Yes.
To, okay, my mind says, and what my parents maybe taught me, or teachers or school or society taught me, you do these things, you get these things, and then you have happiness, then you have peace, then you have everything you want. You're supposed to do it in this order, but you don't have to do it in any order when you follow what you're teaching, Donna, because it shows up in the perfect order. And sometimes you jump a few spaces, because that's where you really belong.
Yes. Yes. And surrender, the most important step, the simplest step, but not the easiest step.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 5 steps that we can utilize in what I call thought form energy healing, or for instant creation. If you're in the role of manifesting and creating, if there's no blocks stopping you energetically based on feelings. And the first step is just knowing what it is that you want, but just, your thoughts, your crown chakra here, knowing. The second step is actually seeing it happen for you. Make sure you are in your visualization with what you're asking for. The third step is speaking it out loud, because that's how we bring in creation. The fourth step is feeling it in the heart of the good vibration that you want to be in, of what it would actually be like. And then the fifth step is that surrender step, going so deep that you release all of the energy from you so the universe can bring it back to you. It's the simplest step, but I say it's the not necessarily the easiest step. It's actually one of the hardest steps, because we are so attached to the outcome that we want to have when we manifest and when we create, that we want it a certain way, rather than saying, universe, you know better than I do, bring it back even better than what I asked for.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right on that surrender step.
Yes, yes. Now, one of the things that happened to me that gives a great example of what you just said was, so I lost my house and my car and my cat to a house fire at the Ventura Fire in California in 2017. And I was really guided to something even better. Yes. So I ended up working in Beverly Hills and living there and having everything just show up quickly. But I had trouble replacing that car. So for about a month, I was renting cars, and I worked with clients. So I had only my good friends, because usually I just teach online courses for real estate. But one of my good friends was flying in from Virgin Islands. She said, Sheila, I don't know how to drive on that side of the street yet. Can you drive? I'll rent the car. I said, great. And it was a Mercedes. And all weekend, I drove her in this Mercedes, and she, oh, Sheila, that car looks good on you. You should just get one of those. Oh, and I said, yeah, this feels good. And so I'm there, and we're saying out loud, we're speaking it, we're feeling it, we're doing all those things you just said. So then I had to go, I got her into her house, and then I had to rent a car because we were done with hers. And that car broke down.
Wow.
And it was exactly 444, those magic numbers. I heard about those numbers, and I look at my phone to contact. It was the Turo rental, and I contacted the guy. He came right out, really nice guy, and he was so embarrassed, whatever. And then I got an email from Hyundai Cars that said, I'll give you $75 Visa card if you test drive the car. And it was in a part of town that wasn't quite safe or, desirable maybe. And I said, well, that's what showed up, and I need a car. And it's not the kind of car I want. So I go to the other side of town, and, it's a little like, I don't know, industrial. And so I show up, and what's sitting on the lot on the pre-owned side? The exact Mercedes I drove.
Wow.
All weekend, same color, same everything, same model. And I told the guy, hey, everything burnt down. My credit score went down. Right. And I have this so much with my commissions coming in and my other things. So I have so much cash, and I would love to get into this car. Can you get me into that car? That's the car I'm supposed to have. Yes, he says. So I qualify, I get into the car, and the person that handed me the car, you know how they do that, where they show you how everything works, looked like my father, who had passed away.
Oh my goodness.
I said, oh, this is definitely something here. I said, you look like my dad. He says, I think I'm younger than you. And I said, yeah, but you look like my dad when he was young. You don't understand. I cried all the way home. And I'm in this car, I'm like this, and it was 6,000 under Blue Book.
Wow.
I said the problem was in that area, people don't want the Mercedes.
Right.
I needed it for work. Right. It had a few miles. It didn't even have that many miles. And it was perfect. So that was completely and I got $75 for groceries. And I
Nice.
needed it. And it was so interesting because it wouldn't have been what I expected. Why would I even go there?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the car that I wanted, but I surrendered and I said, well, I need the groceries, and I did not sign up for them to email me. How interesting is that? Somehow they got my information. I have nothing else to do. Let me just go see.
How amazing is that? And you let go of the how-to method.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get the car that I want? You followed the instinct, and there it is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I still drive that car today. It's been very good to me. Hardly any maintenance needs at all, oil change, whatever. It's been very good. So that's something that just it was like, let's see how far this can go. And it just kept showing up. Now I have 2 beautiful homes, Beverly Hills and Nevada, and all these blessings have shown up in such a way. And the hardest part was the letting go, the surrendering to what shows up, and just say yes.
Because had you tried to take action steps to get to the car that you wanted, you wouldn't have been able to get it or qualify just based on the area of the town versus following the instinct, and there it is.
Oh, yes.
Finally got it.
They gave me an email that night, and they said, we made a mistake because it was after hours by the time I signed, and you really didn't qualify for this car.
Oh, wow.
Are you sure you can make the payments? You can bring it back? And I said, well, I have a contract now. And they said, yeah, you do. We have to honor it. And I said, oh, that like double verify it any more than that. And I did actually pay it off within 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, you know what, I'm just going to pay. I want to be debt free. And now I'm debt free and all that. But I did pay it off quickly. But it was just another verification to me that was like, well, that would have, if I would have believed I'm not going to qualify right now, I may not have even tried. And so many things had to show up.
I love that. And we all have stories like that. I have one that's very similar about when I was purchasing my house. Every lender said there's no way to qualify for it or the payment. And, when you release it, you surrender it, it's yours, have it be. And the next thing you know, you have a lender and you're like, oh, it's that easy. It's done. And here I am 7 years later. So, yes, it's exactly how the universe works when you release it. I like to think of it as like playing tug of war. So I'm holding an end of the rope and the universe has the end of the rope and we're both pulling because we can't let go of our side. But when you let go of your side and release it, your end of the rope drops. But that's that rope that comes back to you, the cord, the connection, so the universe can bring exactly what you're asking for to you.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about your programs, how people get started, what's the process like, what does that all look like?
Okay, so because I have a financial planning background and I had been in that area, the first book I wrote was called Financially Fit, and it's the wealth category. There's 3 areas people always want to know more about, and that's wealth, relationships, and then health is the other one. And so I started with the wealth category, but the principles that I teach in Financially Fit are very similar to the exact same principles, whether it's relationships or with its health. And from that, what we do is we start exploring what energy, by energy I mean emotions and feelings, and where they got stuck in childhood that created your automated response system that's stopping you from creating and manifesting the life that you are meant to live. So the Financially Fit program that I have is a 2-day program where we get to uncover that. I get to teach you and share with you the pivot and shift process, and that you can start doing that for yourself. And then we take a look at our present moment to see how we're creating and how we're manifesting. And then we look at what we want to have in the future and we bring it back to today, because when we do create and we do manifest, it's not something that I want you to have in 2 weeks or in 2 months. It's something that we want to have today. Mm-hmm. So I show you how to do all of that, create your own financial affluence story. And then some of it has to do with meditation. Meditation is just an altar way of brainwave patterns. So I'll show you one or two focused ways to do that are really simple exercises. And then through that process, as you release the lower vibrating emotions and we bring in the higher ones during the course time, I'll write out your own custom meditation for you to use that you can use as an affirmation or listen to it as a recording so you can just keep the energy going for you. So that's the 2-day program based on the book Financially Fit.
Outstanding. Wow. And so now, how long have you been doing this process now? It's been a while.
Yes, I'm getting ready to start my 12th year of doing it.
Wow.
So I've worked a lot internationally, different countries, different cultures, all around the world. It works everywhere for everyone if you choose it. And what I've been doing the last 2 years is taking it from the individual private sector to the global stage. So I put out the book Financially Fit. Now we're doing the programs. And this fall I'll be out on the live stage speaking as I've been working here in the digital platform as well.
Yes. Now, how does this universal pause, how does this show up in your business? How did you shift to, I don't know, kind of still serve people through the interesting, I don't know, lockdowns and all that fun stuff?
You know, what was really interesting about this whole last year was the fact that everyone shifted to going online. Well, because I have an international practice for so long, I had always used the phone and different phone applications for it. Now we have the luxury of Zoom and some other platforms like that. So for my personal business, that didn't shift and change. But what I was able to do was to stop and refocus myself, my own energy, and the messages I was wanting to bring to the world. And that's when I started putting together, transitioning from the individual to the global stage. And I started adding in more and more layers. So rather than thinking, oh, all these things are outside of me, I don't have any control over it, I work on myself. I implemented my own things and I expanded what I was doing because everything comes from the inside out. So rather than feeling enabled or a victim or blaming, I just empowered myself and expanded. And then that's what I taught with my clients.
Oh, that's so nice. There's something about fear will keep you with that lower vibration. So letting go of that just brings you to a better place no matter what. And I guess that's kind of the surrender.
Yes. And fear is so really interesting because what it's doing is it's saying that you're not, that there's not love in the moment, or you don't know how to recognize the love in the moment. But if you realize that you're in fear, you can use it to awaken yourself to the higher vibrations of love. And there's many different kinds of fear. Two of them are the rational fear, which is like if I'm out hiking, I live in Montana, fear the bear if you've run across one. That's designed to keep you safe. But it's the irrational fears that trip us up, that don't open us up to that love vibration. And that's one of the 5 main human emotions that I talk about. That's one of the biggest blocks of keeping all of the energy locked in and you not receiving what it is that you want to receive.
Yes, that's a good one. One of the games that I played with my kids is where is the love in this?
Yes.
So when there's a person or another child, let's say, that's picking on your kid, but where is love in this? Where is the love in this? What's really behind this? And sometimes a person won't even know that maybe they taunted or said something or did something that could feel really negative. But then when you look at the outcome from that 6 months, 6 weeks later, you see, oh,
yeah,
that's what I needed to hear it that way, even though it wasn't fun, because it brought me to even more love and blessings. And then it's like the moment my kids were able to forgive and see the love behind it, then it's like they made friends again. They'd make up and they'd go play and it'd be fine. The kid would call out of the blue, and it was finding that love, and that energy was felt.
Yes, absolutely. And forgiveness is forgiving yourself this love and releasing all of the other emotions that are stopping you from receiving it. That's how I see it. So forgiveness is key. Yes.
Yes. And what about the self-talk, the self-forgiveness. I know in this society and world, I work with a lot of incredible people. Sometimes in their minds,
Mm-hmm.
there's some negative self-talk that doesn't even align with reality at all, not even in the slightest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's there, coming from a parent said this, or they heard this, or a commercial, or some kind of media convincing a person that you're not enough in one form or another. How do you overcome that? What's a good way to do that on the vibrational field?
So everything that happens to us, our subconscious is recording. So if you're watching TV or a movie or commercials, all of that is being recorded in your subconscious, and it starts creating pattern generating ways for you to follow. And if you feel the energy of not enough, I'm less than, I'm not worthy, I'm not appreciated, validated, what it's doing is that's the signal that's being sent out to you. And most of the time, it stems from something in childhood to an event. So, to give you an example here, you can ask yourself some key questions if you wanted to start doing a little bit for this on yourself. I was on a speaking tour. I was in Connecticut, and I pulled a person up from the audience, and I asked him what he wanted to change in his life. And he said he wanted more money, more income. So, of course, I find out why. And it was a relationship that he had with his boys. They were getting ready to graduate high school. There were some things they wanted to do as a family, but the more wasn't generated. So I asked him how he felt by not having the more. And he said, I am so frustrated because everything I do, it is just not working. Well, it was located in his stomach. He felt like a pit in the stomach because it was like, oh, I have to do one more thing and it's not going to work. And I have frustration. So when we went back to an event, I'm like, well, when was the first time you felt that there? He goes, well, my parents got divorced when I was 9 and I was in the middle and they played tug of war, but we were comfortable as a family. But what happened was the extra that they needed got divided and it just wasn't there. To cover what he needed, he wanted to feel a sense of pride and respect. So when we invited that energy in, the frustration left. He saw the events different. He was happy riding his bicycle down the street instead of being in the middle of his parents' divorce. His parents still got divorced. You can't change the event. The stomach, the pit in it, completely gone. And his boys are now graduating. Well, they just graduated high school. They got to do the extra because what he was doing worked because the frequency, how he felt in the heart, was in alignment with what he was thinking. So he was more thinking here, but his heart and that energy was sending out a frequency of frustration, and that wasn't in alignment. So when it came into alignment, then what he was thinking magically happened. So the key questions are, what is it that I want to create? How do I feel not having it? Where is it at in my body? And when was the first time I felt that? And then what did I need in that situation if it wasn't, the negative thing? What did I really need?
Oh.
Your mind will start shifting that on its own without knowing the meditation techniques or the different things with it. And then it'll start shifting. You might have to do the process a few times until you get good at shifting that within you, but you'll start creating on a different level moving forward. So those are all things that I teach, that I talk about, that will be coming up in the Financially Fit programs.
Nice. That is so important. So these financial blocks are often just our own, I don't know, doing or thinking.
Yes.
Creation.
It is. And the beauty of how this works, whether it's something in health, something in the wealth category, or even relationships, is the universe is always bringing you back the frequency. It's an all or nothing kind of proposition. It doesn't say, oh, this frequency for this category or this frequency for that category. We do that. We subdivide, compartmentalize. So even if you just look at it from a financial viewpoint, when that frustration left that particular client in the audience, it also shifted everything else in his life because the universe is just returning accomplishment and sense of pride and respect in all areas of his life because it's all. It's not just here or just there. It's all. So no matter what is going on in your life, whenever you make that shift through that pivot and shift strategy, then it will change all the other aspects of your life.
That's so good. So it's almost like, you could just make your environment beautiful,
Yes.
the best you can make it, and then other beautiful things show up.
Mhm.
It could be really little. It could just be, taking more walks and
Yeah.
just simple things that shift that. And one of the things I noticed in my life was I was always very blessed
Mhm.
in all areas of my life and financially. But at a certain point, I think college age, there was a point when everybody was like, you've got to chase this money. Do you know,
Mhm.
when I chased it, this is the only time in my life that it ran away.
Yep.
And
So you were seen. It's like a game of tag.
this is crazy. This is like I'm doing so much to get this, and it keeps getting further and further away. And before and after, when I got back into where I always was, it was like I'd have these mantras. Oh, well, it just money rolls up the hill. I lived at the top of a hill. It rolls up the hill, knocks on my door, and jumps in my pocket. And speaking of my home, I have a new product that's making my home toxin free. And I'd like to give a special thank you and shout out to this episode's sponsor, Simply Earth. Before Simply Earth's essential oil recipe box, I had no idea how to actually use essential oils. I invested all this time and money into oils, and then I end up not using them. So the solution came when I found Simply Earth Essential Oil Recipe Box, which helps me gain confidence and clarity in using essential oils to help make my home toxin free. First of all, I received the recipe box with 4 pure essential oils, 6 recipe cards, and extras. Then I learned to use the essential oils while making the recipes created by certified aromatherapists. I saved money and I got to detoxify my home and life. Now, this company, what I really love about Simply Earth is that this company also changes the world. Since Simply Earth gives 13% of all profits to end human trafficking around the world. The best part, the oils don't break my budget. Simply Earth's essential oils are affordable, so they are actually also 100% pure. Yes, even though they are affordable. They are actually, all of their essential oil recipes are tried and tested by in-house certified aromatherapists. The logic is that these essential oils alone would cost me over $100 from other companies, but with the Simply Earth Essential Oil Recipe Box, you get 4 pure oils, 6 recipes, and extra ingredients for only $39. And when you subscribe, you get a free big bonus box with even more natural goodies. Using oils to support your wellness does not have to be overwhelming. Have fun making your home toxin free with Simply Earth's Essential Oil Recipe Box. Plus, get a free 80 milliliter essential oil diffuser when you subscribe using the URL simplyearth.com/Sheila. That's simplyearth.com/SHEILA. And then it keeps flowing and it keeps flowing and it keeps flowing. And they'd look at me like you're crazy, and it'd be like, no, but I'm just having fun and helping people doing whatever I'm doing. And the blessings show up. But that whole other mentality of chasing is just exhausting.
Yes, it is. It is. Because like I said, a game of tag. It doesn't want to be caught.
And
the energy you're sending out by chasing after it.
I think there's this provider thing, whether you're a mom or a dad, and dads more than moms, it still tends to be, there's this stereotype that is what it is, where that, like, I've got to go chase this money. And it's that surrender again, coming down back to love. And what do you really want this money to do? Oh, but I want it for my family, like your example. But you're not even with your family because all you do is work and chase. So when you're able to surrender to that time, somehow it aligns the business and the finances. or you might get a redirection. I feel like this universal pause redirected a lot of people to something even better.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's the catalyst for change in this world. And one of the principles that I've learned over the years is money is emotional
Mhm.
because it's a form of energy, but that energy is outside of you. But you're also energy, and how you think and feel about yourself is how money responds in your life. And
Mm.
if you don't believe that you're worthy or that you're enough, financially, those things aren't going to return to you. And
Mhm.
interestingly enough, in the financial services world, those are the same words we use. Here's your net worth. Here's your portfolio value. Your assets appreciated. Oh, and do you have enough money for XYZ goal? And if
Mm.
you feel like you were enough on the inside, you didn't have enough on the outside.
Right.
But yet money has that same energy. It was directly influenced, just like how happiness is on the inside, your
Mhm.
money is influenced exactly by how you feel on that deep subconscious as well. And when that changes, more will flow in. Absolutely. 100% every time.
Yes, so the willingness to give and receive.
Hmm.
A lot of us have trouble with receiving.
Yes.
I struggled with that when I was younger quite a bit. And I was raised, you stand on your own 2 feet and you've got to do your own work. And so receiving or asking for help when you need it was also like not in my vocabulary.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, it wasn't.
And
And
we're taught that it's better to give to receive, but if you don't know how to receive, then how do you know what it's like to give?
yes, yes. And I remember Dr. Wayne Dyer would say that, well, if your hand is closed, how can you receive anything?
Right.
If you're hanging on so tight to everything and you're not willing to open your hand to receive, then
Mhm.
the money can't come back in and it can't go out either. It's stuck.
And
So,
when
yeah,
you let go of the rope and surrender,
yes.
so it can come back.
Beautiful. Now, I'd love to hear where people can connect again with your programs. How would they get started?
So the easiest way, if you're in the United States, is all you have to do is text the word manifesting to 26786, and that will directly connect you to either a consultation call with me, my social media as well, and my website. And that's just typing the word manifesting to 26786. And if you want to know more about the Financially Fit program, really, you just go to the website, donnacampbell.com, and then there's a section there for online programs, and you just click on Financially Fit, and it's all right there.
Wonderful. Now, the last question I ask my guests always is if you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger, let's say 10-year-old self? What
Oh,
advice would you give?
follow everything that's in your heart and listen to your own intuition, because you are going to be right for you and not something on the outside is it may not be right for you. You know yourself better than anyone, so follow what's in your heart.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, thank you again, Donna, for being a guest on the show. And for those tuning in, we'll be back after these messages. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have a special thank you shout out to our sponsors at historicmail.com. I wanted to tell you all about something I've really gotten into recently. Historic Mail is a subscription service that delivers curated letters of historical note to your doorstep every week. You get letters from George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Harriet Tubman, and your choice of many more. The best thing about it is that for someone like some of my audience who's been busy rebuilding their lives and hasn't had time to come up with a great gift for their husband, grandparents, friends, each purchase comes with an instantly downloadable personalized gift certificate. It makes for the perfect personalized last minute gift for your someone special. Use code Sheila for 10% off the first order so you can get that perfect gift or for your own personal development. Go to historicmail.com to learn more. Right. So recently I had a funny situation where I had this guy message me, and he kept messaging me. What the heck is this about? He wanted to know this and that, and I knew it was a sales pitch, and he was providing services to help me do certain things that I have no interest doing. And so he was like, "You must want this and I can give it to you." And I thought to myself, "Well, how interesting. How much does somebody assume that what my definition of success is has anything to do with what they envision as success?" And I finally had to block him because he kept messaging over and over trying to sell me his course or his I don't know what the heck he was trying to sell me, but it was based on his terms. And you know what? That gets pretty old pretty fast. I don't wanna live life on somebody else's terms. I'm designing life on my terms. And so that's really important to me, and it has just given me a lot of freedom. If someone is trying to push something on you that's their vision of their success and it's not something that's your success, don't waste your time. Send them on their way. Their advice isn't even worth a dime if it's not aligned. And that's one thing that I believe is that when you're redesigning your life, when you're reinventing, when you're rebuilding, when you're rebooting, when you're starting over from scratch, it is the best time to design life on your terms, to reevaluate and decide, hey, you know what? These are where I'm at right now. These are my new values, my core values that I've taken with me, and things that I need to adjust. But this is what success looks like. Success sometimes can be so simple. You don't have to take a big vacation to go spend time with your family at the beach or by the pool. You don't have to go spend so much money on gifts when during this holiday season, that gift of time, just playing in the park, playing ball with your kids, or playing with your puppy, something like that could be your version of success for today. And let that be okay, because that's what matters most. Thinking about what matters most to you and living into that truth. Own your truth. My version of success and happiness doesn't have to be yours, and yours doesn't have to be mine. And that's okay. Boots or bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation. This is Sheila Mack. Thank you again for tuning in, and I have some homework for you. So go and get your copy of the new Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. It is now on Amazon, Audible, Kindle, and all major bookstores. And get ready to tune in daily as I share the Business Leader Reboot. So that is starting a business, side business, or extra income. I don't care if you're starting from zero, rebooting, starting over completely. We are going to go through the steps over this year slowly together to rebuild, reboot, and reinvent your business and personal life, or your career and personal life on your terms. And I will also be sharing about investing in properties and how to get some passive income going this year as well. So stay tuned. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and I have a special free gift announcement for you. That's right. Get a free introduction to the Boots formula and meditation by joining our email list for business leaders, busy moms, and rock stars like you. To get your free gift, just go to www.sheilamac.com/free gift. That's right, sheilamac.com/free gift. Answering real questions with real solutions to help reboot your life. To do about the mental health crisis facing parents and small business owners as our world reopens. Dear Sheila, I'm a parent and small business owner, and I admit I'm concerned about stepping back into full-time operations as my city starts to reopen. In the Boots formula I created, there are some steps that can help. The B in Boots is for being. It's about who you are being in all you are doing and who you need to be during this situation. You are going to have to show up and be very different than you were before this crisis. The first O in the Boots formula is for orientation. In order to get the outcomes you desire, you must be brutally honest here. I want X and I have zero funds for that project. Your outcomes this year need to be realigned to where you find your new orientation on the map. The next O in the Boots formula is for order of operations. Now that you know who you need to be and where your orientation is on your map, you can decide in which order you must do things for the remainder of this year to achieve realistic outcomes. The order in which you do things is going to really drive your results. The T in the Boots formula is for thinking. This is where mindset and your concern to stay strong and help your family and employees maintain mental health awareness comes in. This year especially, setting healthy boundaries and having the resources available to connect loved ones to the right tools can make all the difference. The S in the Boots formula is for stepping up. This is the part that takes all of the other pieces you have planned out and puts you and your business back into action. The time is now for us to collectively work together for the hurting among us. My hope is that this video series and my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, helps. In my book and on my website, I do provide plenty of free resources to help anyone dealing with a rock-bottom situation reinvent and reboot their business and personal life.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today I'd like to share a little bit more about the Tea Club.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pouty Arco Super Tea helps build the red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit lovemysupertea.com. That's love, L-O-V-E, my, M-Y, super, S-U-P-E-R-T-T-E-A.com. So the complete website is lovemysupertea.com. Or call us at 818-288-4128, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 California time. That's lovemysupertea.com at 818-288-4128.
I have a couple of announcements. First, I would like to hear from you. That's right. I would love to hear from you, to be honest. I want to know what your breakthrough is, what your reboot is, how are you reinventing and rebooting your life, what shows would you like to hear more of, what information do you need to help you get back on track this year. And to do that, the best way to connect with me is actually through my new YouTube channel, and that is Sheila Mack Show on YouTube.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pouty Arco Super Tea helps build the red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit lovemysupertea.com. That's love, L-O-V-E, my, M-Y, super, S-U-P-E-R-T-T-E-A.com. So the complete website is lovemysupertea.com. Or call us at 818-288-4128, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 California time. That's lovemysupertea.com at 818-288-4128.
In each person's lifetime, there will be a series of waves of rock bottom events. These times are when your identity needs a reboot. These are the sacred and historic times that offer you a chance to reinvent and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I hope that your life is always blessed and that you will never need a guide. However, if you need help, accountability, community, and connection, along with a rock-solid reboot plan, then my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, will be like having me by your side. It is now available on Audible, Amazon, Kindle, and includes a free mini online course, meditation, plus 11 additional guided application workbooks. Grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action. Bootstraps and Bra Straps, now available on Amazon, Audible, and wherever fine books are sold. And now a message from our sponsor.